The stupid girl who's paying for everything. I blinked once, then again, hoping the words would rearrange themselves into something less cruel. They didn't. The place card sat there, neatly printed, deliberate, impossible to ignore. Around me, glasses clinked, laughter floated, cameras flashed, but all I could hear was that one sentence drilling into my chest. "Hi, my name is Vesna Koroleva. I'm the younger sister, the quiet one. The one who handled every payment, every booking, every last-minute disaster, without a single complaint. And apparently, the family joke." I slowly lifted my gaze. My brother Victor stood near the stage, greeting guests like a king hosting his own coronation. His bride clung to his arm, smiling for photos, glowing under chandeliers I personally paid for. No one looked at me. Not really. Not until I picked up the card. Across the table, my cousin smirked before hiding it behind her glass. My aunt leaned in, whispering something that made another guest chuckle. So, this was entertainment. I turned the card over. Nothing. No apology. No explanation. Just intention. My fingers tightened around the edge of the table, and then I remembered the sealed envelope in my purse. The one no one else knew existed. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I placed the card back down exactly where it was, aligning it with the edge of the plate like I had aligned everything else in this wedding. Perfect, invisible, unappreciated. Because that's what I'd been for months. Invisible. When Victor got engaged, he called me not to share the news, but to help organize a few things. A few things turned into everything. Venue, catering, floral, design, lighting, guest logistics, even the custom invitations. Every invoice came to me. "Just cover it for now," he'd say. "I'll settle everything after the wedding." He never did. And I never asked, because after our father passed, the golden son, the one everyone protected, while I handled reality. I remember the night I stayed up until 3 a.m. fixing a vendor crisis, the morning I transferred the final payment for this very hall. The quiet relief I felt thinking, maybe this wedding would finally bring us closer. Stupid, right? A burst of laughter snapped me back. My brother had just raised a glass, pulling his bride closer as guests cheered, and then I heard it. "Make sure she pays for dessert, too." Soft, careless, meant to sting. I didn't turn, but something inside me shifted. I kept my face still, smiling just enough to look normal. Because that's what they expected, right? The quiet sister, the dependable one, the one who absorbs everything and never reacts. But now I was listening, really listening. "Honestly, she's always been like this," my aunt murmured behind me. "Trying to prove something, or maybe she just doesn't know her place," someone else replied. A soft laugh followed. My grip tightened around the stem of my glass. I thought about the spreadsheets on my laptop, the receipts neatly filed, the contracts signed in my name. Every single expense traceable, every single sacrifice documented. And suddenly, something didn't sit right. Not just the card. Everything. Because Victor hadn't just asked me to help. He had insisted everything be processed through me. "It's easier this way," he said. "More organized." At the time, it felt like trust. Now, it felt like setup. I glanced toward the head table again. His bride leaned into him, whispering something in his ear. He smirked, subtle, but there. That same smirk I'd seen once before, years ago, when he lied to our father and let me take the blame. My stomach turned. This wasn't just disrespect. This was calculated. And for the first time that night, I realized I wasn't the only one keeping secrets. The clinking of a spoon against crystal cut through the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," the host announced, "it's time for the family toast." Applause swelled, chairs shifted, cameras lifted. My brother stepped forward first. "Tonight, Victor said smoothly, is about love, family, and gratitude. Gratitude? I almost laughed. He went on about loyalty, sacrifice, how everyone played their part. The room melted for him. Of course they did. Then his bride spoke, sweet, polished, perfect. And a special thank you, she added, glancing around, to those who supported us quietly, even if they don't always understand boundaries. A few people chuckled. My table. Their eyes flicked to me. There it was. Not just mockery positioning. They weren't just humiliating me. They were rewriting the story, painting me as the desperate sister who overstepped, who paid because she wanted to, who wasn't owed anything. My heartbeat slowed, strangely calm, because now it was clear. This wasn't careless. This was strategy. The host smiled. And now, if any other family member would like to say a few words. A pause. A polite opening. No one moved. Of course not. I stood. Every head turned. My chair scraped softly against the floor as I reached for my purse and felt the edge of the envelope between my fingers. And for the first time that night, I smiled. For a moment, I just stood there, letting the silence stretch. Not rushed. Not emotional. Controlled. I walked slowly toward the microphone, heels steady against the marble floor. Every step echoed, measured, deliberate. The same way I had handled every detail of this wedding. Victor's smile faltered, just slightly. Zoriana, he said under his breath as I passed. Keep it short. I didn't respond. I reached the mic, adjusted it gently, and looked out at the room, at the faces that laughed, whispered, watched. I wasn't planning to speak. Tonight, I began, my voice calm, almost soft. But since gratitude was mentioned, I think it's important we talk about family properly. A few guests shifted, uncomfortable already. Good. I let my fingers brush the envelope in my hand, but I didn't open it yet. Not yet, because revenge isn't loud. It's precise. I've spent months supporting this wedding, I continued. Not as a guest, but as someone who believed in what this day was supposed to mean. I paused, letting that settle. Then I looked directly at my brother. And I also believe, I said slowly, that certain agreements should be honored. His expression changed. There it was. Recognition. Fear. Because now he knew exactly what I was holding. The room had gone still. Not silent, but tight. Like everyone was holding the same breath. Victor stepped closer, his voice low, forced calm. Zoriana, this isn't the time. I met his eyes. It's exactly the time. A few nervous laughs rippled through the crowd, uncertain, fading quickly. I slid my finger under the seal and opened the envelope. The sound was soft, but it landed like thunder. I didn't just help plan this wedding, I said, pulling out the folded document. I managed the estate after Dad passed. Every asset, every clause. His bride frowned. What is she talking about? I unfolded the paper slowly, deliberately. Our father left something very specific behind, I continued. A condition. I lifted the page slightly, enough for the front rows to see the official header. And since tonight is about family, I think it's only fair everyone hears it. Victor shook his head once, subtle, urgent. Don't. I ignored him. Any descendant who knowingly exploits another family member for financial gain. A pause, a shift in the room, forfeits their inheritance. Gasps, sharp, immediate. His bride turned toward him. Victor, what is she saying? I lowered the page slightly and smiled. Because this part was already in motion. The silence shattered. What? His bride whispered, stepping back from him like he'd burned her. That's not, Victor started, but his voice cracked. Just enough. Enough for everyone to hear it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. All payments, I said calmly. lifting a second sheet from the envelope, were processed through my accounts. Every transfer, every contract documented. Murmurs spread like wildfire. Someone stood. Someone else leaned in closer. Phones quietly started recording. I trusted you, I added, looking straight at him. But you insisted everything go through me. Said it was easier. His bride's face drained of color. You told me your sister offered, she said, her voice shaking. You said she wanted to be involved. He didn't answer, because he couldn't. I stepped forward once more. By legal definition, I continued. This qualifies as financial exploitation. The word landed hard. Exploit. My aunt sat down abruptly. My cousin looked away. And Victor, he wasn't smiling anymore. Zoriana, he said softer now, almost pleading. We can talk about this privately. I tilted my head, then shook it once. No, I said gently. Tonight we finish it here. No one moved. No music, no laughter. Just the quiet collapse of something they thought would never break. I lowered the documents slowly, letting the weight of them settle over the room. You always said family comes first, I said, my voice steady. So, I followed that rule, even when it cost me everything. Victor stepped forward, desperation replacing arrogance. Zoriana, listen. This can be fixed. I'll transfer everything back. We'll correct it. We. Now it was we. I almost smiled. It's already been corrected, I replied. A pause. Confusion rippled through the guests. I glanced toward the entrance. 2 men stepped inside. Calm, professional, legal. I submitted the documentation this morning, I continued. The estate lawyers reviewed everything. The clause has been activated. His bride turned sharply. What does that mean? I met her eyes. It means, I said softly, he just forfeited his inheritance. A sharp inhale. Someone dropped a glass. Victor's face went pale. You wouldn't. I already did. Silence swallowed him. I placed the place card back onto the table exactly where I found it. Then I walked past him. Because they stupid girl was the only one who understood the rules.